Thank you for that.
There we go. We are recording, so
Okay.
thanks for that. But the idea of ministry, see, all of this can sound theological. It can sound very abstract. There is no world. But what this lesson is saying is that if you know, you have to reflect the oneness of the truth of who you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's only one time. There's the present.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's only this expression. There's like only my purpose, my only one feeling, one function, one purpose, one time.
Yeah.
So it's a miracle is a practical device that in this moment you can demonstrate to yourself that love, you haven't left love, and love hasn't left you.
Okay, so the key that comes from this lesson is giving it away.
To become aware that you have it.
So that you are aware that you have it. So
and I just want to reinforce that again. So the world thinks first I have to learn it, and then I'll be able to use it. And the Course is saying you have to use it first, and then you'll learn that you have it. It's called the transcendental method of teaching. It's what you use in science, is what you use in any inquiry after the nature of truth. You act in certain ways, and then since I've been able to act in that holy way, I must be holy.
mm-hmm.
So now I'm becoming aware of my true nature by the miracles that I'm giving away.
Yeah. So yesterday we had I kind of put a little quote up in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And yesterday the quote, I think, speaks to this. It says, well, I wish I had it right here. I'm going to have to paraphrase it. God is asking us to find the place where our deepest gladness meets the world's deepest need.
Yeah.
This is so wonderful because it goes right along with the whole flow of God's will for us is perfect happiness.
Right.
And we find our happiness, our deepest gladness meets the world's deepest needs. So we had some friends over yesterday, and it was, you know, social distance, masks, the whole deal. Very strange. But I said to them afterward, you really exemplify this. They really are ministers of God. And they have regular work. You know, one of them is a musician. Another one is a yoga teacher and author. And they do their thing. Whatever it is that you do, when you do it with love, when you do it so that you can extend love, when your everyday work becomes the vehicle for you to extend love to others, you're a minister of God. You're activating your deepest gladness.
So let's talk about that, because that came up again, and it's central to this lesson, that these messages that you're to give away, the miracles, are meant for you.
Yeah.
First for you.
Right.
And without understanding that, we don't understand that we have all that we need.
Yeah.
We have all the strength, all the ability to be able to do whatever our function is. So from the ego standpoint, it does its work because it comes from lack. It comes from its sense of being unworthy. I'm not enough.
I better do this or that so that I'll be better.
I have to be I have to be the father. I have to be the mother. Well, all those things the Holy Spirit uses. It would be crazy to deny those roles to yourself, but you're not doing it from lack. You're not doing it so you can establish this identity of who you think you are, right? Like I study philosophy. So is that my identity? Is that what I'm trying to prove? No, you're not giving this miracles away from lack. You're doing it from the abundance of your being. And that's the big difference.
Okay. So we want to make sure that everybody who's in our classes recognizes that we're kind of giving you a context and some enrichment of the lesson, but this little class is not a substitute.
That's right.
It's not a substitute for you doing the work.
And so if I understand what you're saying, I think it's what we've always said, is our only job is to be able to put these words in people's hands,
Yeah.
right? So they can understand it for themselves.
Right.
And that's usually what happens.
Yeah.
New course students come to the course, it starts to resonate with them. And what this lesson is saying is that you're going to begin to understand that this Holy Spirit's voice is really your voice.
Yeah.
Right?
Your true self.
Right. So you're no longer operating with some thought system that was given to you. This is your thought system.
Right. Yeah.
Like he said in here, those who have received for you the message of God would have them be received by you. And when you do this, you'll be able to identify with the Holy Spirit. So it's only by identifying with our true nature that we're able to give this away.
Yeah. That's a process, right?
Right.
It takes a long time to recognize that. I
Right.
mean, it's taken a long, hopefully the job of a teacher is to give you everything that we have so you can start way ahead. And that's what we're trying to do. So when I say this, doesn't mean this is going to be true for you, but it took me a long time to recognize that the course is all about who are you really?
Yep.
Right? I'm not this body. I'm not this personality. I'm not this history. I'm not what other people think I am. I am the one self created by God that's one with you, one with Timothy, one with Poppy and everyone else. That's the story. That's the place we want to drop down into. And we do it by giving that to everybody else. So when we see somebody who maybe is acting out, or maybe they're, really being wonderful, whatever, instead of judging what we see the body do, the personality, trying to analyze all of that.
Our psychosocial assessment of the circumstance.
Yeah, right. I like that. Instead of that, what we do is say, from the Christ in me to the Christ in you. So when we do that, we open up.
Yeah.
And that's the miracle.
So can I mention what how that lesson yesterday struck me and how valuable it was? So in yesterday's lesson, in my defenselessness, my safety lies, it says, now given this lesson that you're going to be in the earnestness of love, your devotion now will be building inside and you'll be true to love rather than say to fear. But the reason it gives is because when you feel yourself in need of anything, yourself is there that says to you, I'm here. And that's what we're training our voices to hear, not just the Holy Spirit, not just God, but our true self is trying to get our attention. And it's saying, I'm here. And in a lesson coming up, I'm entrusted with the gifts of God. As soon as we feel lack, our true self says to us, that's not true. So for love to develop inside of us, we have to identify with what God created.
Right.
Because if we try and do it from this standpoint, there's always going to be a sense of lack.
It's just never enough. I mean, I'm a white person. I'm not a black person.
Right.
I'm missing a lot when I identify with this thing. This is not who I am. I am, remember that Michael Jackson song? Wasn't it him? Way back when there was turmoil in the past. I am the world. Remember that song?
Yeah,
it was a great song. And it had a lot of truth in it. I am the world. You are the world. When we can drop down into that, we've got it. But we can't do it alone. Obviously, that's what it means. I am the ministers of God. Give away that. You are perfect too, because you are the whole. Kind of esoteric sounding, but when you do the practice, you recognize little by little by little in the circumstances.
That's the key, because the course is not just saying, here's this great theoretical metaphysical truths that, are all this thing. It's saying you need help every moment in your practical life, because that's not going to go away. I have kids, I have a business, I have relationships. And so I need practical help here and now.
Right.
But it has to be the kind of help that doesn't reinforce the illusion of who I am. It's the kind of help that brings open my true self.
Right.
And I'm coming from that abundance. So the Course's rule pretty much is, if you're feeling drained out, if you're feeling exhausted, if you're feeling like I'm not enough, the Course is saying that's the perfect place for you to be in. Because the only thing the Holy Spirit needs is for you to say, I need help.
I need help.
I can't do this alone.
Yeah.
And so all this anxiety about whether we're going to be enough, instead of that being a problem, it becomes the solution, because I give that to the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
I need your strength.
Yeah.
And I need it in this situation, not in some esoteric metaphysical truth. I need help here and now in time and space. Right?
Yeah.
Because that is what we made to have us avoid who we really are. So it's that has to be corrected.
Right. That's also a really good clue about the meaning of forgiveness.
Right. So
it's like you have to start at the place where there's the pain
Mhm.
and deny that has power and go to the place of real power.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we just finished the lesson, The Power of Decision is My Own. And that was a good one.
Yeah. And so what we've been saying lately, I think this is helpful with the Course, because it's rooted in the Christian traditions and the terms. But what the Course is, it's an upgrade to Jesus's teachings, because now it's about self-realization too.
Yeah.
I mean, the assumption in following Jesus was, I'm a body, I was born in time, I grow, I individuate, I decline, I die. But it's saying that's not who you are.
Right.
You're the deathless spirit. You are as God created you. And that idea is what the Course is saying. That's our one response to temptation. If we're tempted to give into fear or anxiety or anger, I am as God created me. I'm not a body. I am free. I'm still as God created me. And the freedom is the key, because we made up the world, we made up the bodies, we made up the personalities to make us think our thoughts are not our own, our action, our will is not our own, and that we're not ourselves. What could be crazier than that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Course tells us a lot of times that we're insane, and that we're what is that? What is the one we just read in the text? It was about how we're educationally
we have real learning disabilities.
Learning disabilities.
Real
That's
learning
right.
disabilities.
Right. We're special ed students.
And you need constant support through this whole thing. And why? Because this body and world seems real. And what the Course is saying, if you deny your belief that this body and world is real, what you're really doing is denying the power of the mind.
Yeah.
So don't deny your beliefs with that, but they have to be given to the Holy Spirit. So what this lesson is saying at the end is that you've been told a million times, and we've been doing this for 30 years.
So probably literally a million times for us.
Right.
We're getting it finally.
You've been told that giving is receiving, and yet it lacks belief. So through faith and trust, because I'm not at peace, I can invest belief in I'm among the ministers of God. I can invest belief in giving is receiving. And once I invest my own belief in it, then I can perform those miracles.
Yeah. So the performance of miracles here is seeing the truth about another person. And it could be a person who's problematic. Seeing the truth about them with the help of the Holy Spirit. They may or may not get it. You don't say it. This ministry here is not about going up to somebody and saying, you are the Son of God, one with all of us, one with Jesus. No, we're not going to do it that way. By changing our own mind, so silently in our own heart, we recognize I'm thinking wrongly about that person. I'm thinking with judgment, with the Holy Spirit, with the ego. And if I don't feel good, or if I think they're doing wrong, judgment, I'm mistaken. Change my mind. when I change my mind about them, I'm sending them the truth of who they are. I'm saying you are as God created you.
So,
You're holy. You may be making a mistake. That's not the point. The point is, if I'm in judgment, I'm hurting, I need to change my thinking about you. With the help of the Holy Spirit, I can do that. You are as God created you. Your spirit, you're perfect in your spiritual being, as I am. And that's giving and receiving the miracle. And that's a way of saying forgiveness.
yes. So I like what you're saying there because, you know, evidence is testimony and witness. That's why you have sports figures say
Yeah.
this is a great product. It's testimonials
I like this beer.
and it's witness. That's always been evidence. You're demonstrating as a witness. You have like maybe 4 physicists in the world who knows what's going on, but they demonstrate it, right?
They tell us and we believe them.
Right. So witness and testimony is still in the course. It's building on that. But the witness and testimony is not necessarily the words or thoughts you give. There may be words or thoughts. I mean, you may say, I'm a course student and it's beautiful. But the real testimony and witness is yourself.
Yeah. How joyful are you? How kind are you? Right?
Yeah, so it has all those attributes, but plainly just who I am.
Uh-huh.
If I'm in that space, I'm automatically healing because giving is receiving. You've already been given everything.
So you probably have all noticed that, right? Somebody really peaceful comes into the room and there's like a vibe of peace. And you can accept it. You can go along with that. Or you can just go, I'm going to keep my irritation. It's up to you. But the person who's peaceful, when they give the peace, they feel more peace. So that's the whole story I am among the ministers of God. You know, this lesson doesn't have a specific instructions for those of you who are doing the workbook as written, but you might want to make a note that yesterday, in lesson 153, the practice was given. If you're looking at your book, go to page 286 and paragraph 15 starts the practice. It describes how we're going to practice our lessons for a long time. I don't remember how long it is. 20 days?
Well, until further notice.
Until further notice, right?
So
that's where it's at. So you might want to bookmark that. Spend a little time with God in the beginning of the day, with the thought for the day. Read it, think about it. Be in peace with the Father, with Jesus, whatever works for you. Do the practice on the hour.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you feel upset, and gradually you'll not cease to think of God. And then at the end of the day, another 15 minutes, maybe a half an hour. I think maybe it said start with 5 minutes. 5 minutes now becomes the least, yeah.
Right. I mean, he's saying the amount of time is kind of like money. The more you have, the better it is, seemingly. But I mean, he's just saying spend as much time as you can and come from your guidance. And eventually what it's saying in this practice, if you start giving time in love to these practices, you're going to realize that you are loved. Yeah. And then there's no further question of should I practice or shouldn't I? You'll be in that state of your loving being. And then you're automatically giving and receiving.
Yep.
Right? So we have to start, what it's saying is you have to start giving as much time as you possibly can to this practice, right? But that's part of what he's saying is structuring your practice by time can be tedious. It's not really the best way, you know, I'm a follower, so now I got to do this, I got to do that. But he's saying, since you're heavily defended against learning the truth of who you are, structuring in time is probably...
It's a good idea for the time being.
But it's only there until you get to this place where you're just in that state. And when you're in the truth of who you are, you will just be receiving and giving those miracles.
Right.
There's not a function of practice. So,
So we could actually go, did you want to say anything more, or do you want to entertain questions
yeah, I think we've
and
got,
comments?
just to reinforce again that our job is to, you know, in these short amount of times, is just to sort of, you know, point you in a direction so you start to entertain this thought system as part of your own.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, so a heads up we can give you is that just prior to these set of lessons, it said your mind holds only what you think with God. That's my starting point.
Right.
There can't be anything else in there. If it's a
Right.
fear thought, I'm not really thinking.
Right.
So give as much time as you can. And again, the workbook practice is morning and evening, hourly remembrances. Remember the lesson as often as you can. And most importantly, when you're tempted through fear or anger and anxiety, your mind is really focused at that moment. So you can take that concentration and put it on love instead of on fear.
Yep.
And that's the place we want to end up.
All right. Great.